Through the Ravine. In today's video, we are going to talk about the freak. Tim Lincecum was one of my favorite pitchers growing up. Kind of what got me into baseball. Not saying that Tim Lincecum got me into baseball, but like pitchers and players like Tim Lincecum got me into baseball. I could say that as a Dodger fan. Like, I loved watching Tim Lincecum pitch because I'm a baseball fan. And his nature on the mound. He was nicknamed the Freak for a reason. His unreal wind-up pitching delivery. I had to see it to believe it. Tim Lincecum had an utter dominant stretch pitching performances in his heyday, but that heyday left us wanting more because Tim Lincecum's career took a downward spiral one day, and we were just wanting more. We were left wondering what happened to Tim Lincecum. Why did he vanish so quickly and so abruptly? Because this guy was at the top of baseball. Even today, we all remember Tim Lincecum and just how good he was, even though it was very short-lived. Tim Lincecum was drafted twice, or actually make it 3 times. First in 2003 by the Chicago Cubs. He did not opt to get drafted by the Cubbies. He then got drafted again in 2005 by the Cleveland Indians. Opted to not get drafted by the Indians. Eventually was drafted in the first round, pick number 10 by the San Francisco Giants in 2006. We knew that Tim Lincecum coming up was going to be one of the more top, highly rated pitchers in his draft class, and he lived up to that. He bet on himself. He would then make his debut one season later in 2007, and that was just a come up for Tim Lincecum, his first taste of the big leagues. And like most pitchers, are going to struggle a little bit. And in his first ever outing, he did get roughed up, putting up 5 runs. The Phillies making his debut 5-6-07. 2008 happens, and wow. This was the beginning of absolute dominance for Tim Lincecum. His 2008 through 2011 run, many fans wanting more and kind of reliving those glory days of Tim Lincecum. In 2008 and 2009, he wins 2 Cy Young Awards in the National League, and it wasn't even close. Tim Lincecum was that guy, was racking up the strikeouts at an unreal level. Nobody could hit Tim Lincecum. He was that good. The time where the Giants were kind of sort of building this roster to become a championship level team, and a championship level team that to this day is still underdogs. The Giants were never the Dodgers as far as the hype and the mega stars, but they just had a bunch of scrappy players and really good pitchers like Tim Lincecum that kind of got them over the finish line to win 3 and 5 World Series. So Tim Lincecum was a part of those World Series championships, as in 2010 his dominance continues en route to the Giants' first ever championship in San Francisco over the Texas Rangers. And Tim Lincecum, in his postseason appearances in 2010, did play a pivotal role in that, was the guy for the Giants in 2010. In 2011, the end of an era for Tim Lincecum. His 08 through 11 run is one of the best in baseball history as far as the pitching dominance is concerned. A couple of Cy Youngs, World Series ring mixed in. 2011, his final season where he has a sub 3.5 ERA. And he was really good. 4 straight All-Star appearances as well from 2008 through 2011. And that was it. The lights were out. The Giants did not make the postseason in 2011. And in 2012, the Giants would also go back to the World Series and win another World Series. And Tim Lincecum was a part of that World Series and World Series run in Giants team in 2012. But he was not the same guy. He had a 5 ERA through the season, and I will say that all of these years, Tim Lincecum started 30-plus games. Every single year, you're seeing 32, 33 starts for Lincecum, and in 2012, it just kind of falls apart where he does start 30-plus games, but it's a 5 ERA, and he's not the same guy, just getting roughed up, struggling to find it, but he does get through that postseason through that year, and the Giants won another World Series, where in 2013, once again, we see the same struggles to find his command. Again, making all the starts, but not the same guy. You can blame it on injuries, and there was injury concerns with Lincecum, and obviously one of the smaller guys in baseball at the time. With his wicked windup, it just caught up to him. Unfortunately, it just caught up to Tim Lincecum, and he was never the same guy. And in 2014, the Giants won their final World Series championship. Tim Lincecum would end his career with 3 World Series rings. That would be his last ring in San Francisco. In that 2014 run, we're seeing the Madison Bumgarner show, right? That was not the Lincecum show. It was the Bumgarner show. And Lincecum only made 1 appearance in that postseason. It was a World Series game. 3 World Series rings in 2015. That was his last season in San Francisco. only started 15 games, and eventually was let go by the San Francisco Giants at the end of the 2015 season. Looking to latch on 2016, and the Rangers called him up, did not make the roster. Eventually, the Angels did call him up, and he made the roster for the Angels in that 2016 season. I remember that vividly because it was a big thing. Like, oh my gosh, Tim Lincecum's on the Angels, but this was not the same Tim Lincecum. It was just not the same guy. And in that season, he made 9 starts in 2016 and had a 9 ERA. In his last ever start, gave up 9 hits and 6 runs. His final game in August of 2016, and we never saw Tim Lincecum again. It's one of those cases where did Lincecum go? Why did he vanish so quickly? What was his fall off? Again, people want to blame the injuries, but he made consistently starts. Again, it's just one of those things where I guess it's kind of mechanics. It has to be mechanic-wise. His fastball did lose velocity. He lost command of his pitches, of his breaking ball, and unfortunately for Lincecum, it was never the same for him. But certainly one of the best primes we've ever seen, that I've ever seen, and that was me growing up. And Tim Lincecum to this day is still one of the best pitchers I've ever seen. And what do you guys thought down below in the comment section about the freak Tim Lincecum? Certainly his legacy will always be remembered.